Hey guys, what's up? It's Matchpoint here, and in today's video, I'm going to be giving you the best tips to win more gunfights in Rainbow Six Siege. This video will help you to be more consistent in gunfights and will show you different techniques that can help you to have the upper hand in a gunfight. If you're new around here, welcome, and I hope you enjoy the video. So let's get on into it. So first of all, we're going to be talking about leaning. Now, as I'm sure all of you know, that leaning is when you can adjust your gun to move it left or right to adjust to various angles. And you may be thinking this is a fairly straightforward and basic concept. Well, actually, there's a lot more to it than you might think. Now, if you are struggling with your shots lining up with the enemy's body and tracking them and locking your shots onto it, then this might help you out a lot. It will also help those general players out who are struggling with gunfights as well. Now, normally you'll decide which way you're going to lean your gun based off which way you're approaching through the room or the angle that you're holding down, and this is the correct way of doing it, but it's fairly basic. Now, if we take that up a notch, I'm sure some of you already know this, but for those that don't, you want to be switching up which way you're leaning based off how much cover you can get from each side. Now we'll be getting into the more advanced section of leaning. So a key reason as to why you might not be winning as many gunfights consistently is most likely going to be because you're not leaning effectively and efficiently to the players' bodies. So right now I'm just going to be going through this technique with you and how to do it. So when you're in a gunfight and you're met face to face with that player, they're going to be moving around if their movement is good or bad. If their movement is bad, they're going to be obviously a lot easier to kill. However, if their movement is really good, and we will get onto movement in the later tip because that's a key aspect of winning gunfights. So if their movement is really good, they're obviously going to be a lot harder to kill. Now, this technique that I'm going to be showing you isn't going to come within an instant. It's going to take a bit of time for you to work it into your game, although some may be able to learn it quicker than others. Now, this technique is going to be about adapting to the player's movement. So when you're in a gunfight with one or multiple enemies, and you're in an open area, it can be harder to hit them due to the large amount of space for them being able to move. So what we can do is base our aim off the player's movement and adjust to it by leaning left and right. Now, in the background you would have seen an ongoing example of this in case you're struggling to grasp the concept. Now let me put this into perspective for you. If a player is going to be moving to the right, then you're obviously going to lean to the right following their body movement. And if a player is facing you and he moves to the left, you're obviously going to be leaning to the left, tracking his movement. You get the idea. But when they have really good movement and they are moving to the right and left in short bursts, it can be very hard to track them. And this is where that technique comes into play that I just showed you. So now if a player has really good movement and they're moving left and right in short amounts, we can now very quickly adjust our lean by leaning left and right very quickly, one after the other, adjusting to their body movement. Now obviously different players are going to have different types of movements, so this is going to be a learning curve and something you will have to get used to. But this technique can be so effective and help you to win more gunfights, and you'll often see it being used by the higher tier players. So if you feel like your gun skill is at a plateau and you can't go anywhere else with it, then this technique, if you haven't already got it in your books, should definitely push you over that edge. So the next tip for winning more of those gunfights is movement. Now if you have good movement, you're obviously going to be in a lot better position than your opponent who doesn't, and you'll be able to be more evasive in that gunfight. Now there's something called fluid movement, which you may or may not have heard of. Fluid movement is when you're able to move around the map swiftly and smoothly. This also does link onto clearing rooms as well, as if you have fluid movement, you'll be able to clear rooms more effectively and efficiently. And this is because when you're entering a room, if you're leaning around the corner correctly and having fluid movement, most of the time you will be able to see the opponent before they see you as you're leaning in the correct direction. Therefore, you'll be able to get the upper hand on the gunfight. Now if you're able to add in crouching while still shooting at the same time in the middle of a gunfight, this can be a very effective technique to confuse your opponent and be a harder shot to hit. This can be quite a hard technique to incorporate into your game, so I'd recommend slowly dripping it in as you play. Now we're going to be moving on to the final tip, which is positioning. In my opinion, positioning is one of the most important aspects of Siege and winning gunfights. Now I'm only going to touch on positioning briefly as I have a full guide on it and that card will be in the top right, but right now I'm just going to give you a brief overview of it for those who don't have the time. To have good positioning, you want to be exposing as little of your body as you can in a gunfight. Therefore, this makes you a harder shot to hit. If you find yourself getting killed and you feel like you didn't even see the enemy, it's most likely going to be because they had better positioning than you did. Better positioning can give you the advantage over your opponents, as you can gain that extra 1 to 2 seconds of time before they are able to lock onto you and kill you. And if you had great positioning and were holding down a very tight angle, this would give you the advantage, as you'll be a harder shot to hit and even locate in the first place, which gives you that 1 to 2 second comfort zone to kill. Finally, I'm just going to be giving a quick summary of the tips I mentioned in the video and which ones are the most important. So for the first tip, which was leaning, you want to be able to lean left and right, adjusting to the body movement of the player and therefore tracking them. So for the second tip, which was movement, you definitely want to be incorporating fluid movement into your game and trying to slowly drip in them crouch moves. And then the final tip, which was positioning. I definitely recommend you to go and check out that guide I had on positioning. It covers everything in there that you'll need to know. And you should be focusing on holding down the tightest possible angle you can, therefore maximising your chances of winning that gunfight. And that is going to be it for today's video, guys. I hope you have all enjoyed. If you did, or this video helped you out, then make sure to give it a like and subscribe for more videos like this. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye bye.